Fuck yourselves. I decided to do a little vid, I guess you could say. I'm Mr. fucking Big Time. My name is Asshole Big Time, so it's Mr. Big Time. DJ Thug X here. Fuck yourself. No, I had a couple of minutes and I feel like I should get used to doing this again, where I just do it randomly. So, one thing I want to ask is, does anybody know what neocon policy is out there? I mean, there's a couple of definitions of what it is, but technically it is German curated. Technically, policy and law and the way they write it up is a way to recommend out of suggestion to the policy to take human rights. Now, people are probably, yeah, right. It's everybody what everybody wants to say, but these videos that I've been doing with people, asking 4 questions, and since 2021, me asking these questions, maybe a little bit before that, I've realized that nobody knows what the human rights are. I mean, a couple of people that do. I mean, I've had a few people answer 3 or 4 human rights out of all of them. We have a lot, but so I guess you could say my problem is whatever happened during COVID, because there's a lot of things that happened during COVID that don't happen now. Meaning, like people used to know what discrimination is, and they don't anymore. I'll prove it. One thing I will say though is that I was probably the only one that took on COVID the way anybody took it on in Vancouver, anyway, so I can be sure of that. But for some reason, I didn't buy any of it. I mean, let me start off like this, and then you try to tell me if you guys' rights are being taken away and you just didn't notice. Okay, first off, social distancing, that's an oxymoron. And for that to be used against you in a pandemic or a health authority like World Health Organization say that you had to follow it, fucking ridiculous. It's an oxymoron. There's no such thing as it, right? Second, viruses aren't, like, you can't get a virus by being close to somebody. That's not how it works. Like, if I had COVID and you licked my freaking forehead, you wouldn't get COVID, right? So social distancing, what does that have to do with any of it? First. Third thing, remember when we had to wear all that, or keep putting on all that hand sanitizer? Well, why? COVID is real. It was a virus, not a bacteria. Bacteria would have nothing to do with it. But did you know that 67% of the people who don't use hand sanitizer actually get sick? Well, 67% of the people who don't use no, that's not what it is. That's what it is. The people who don't use hand sanitizer, 67% of them get sick less than people who do wear it, because it gets rid of your good and bad bacteria. And people who don't use it, you get resiliency. Now, let's say the mask wearing. For one, it was the wrong mask. I mean, I'll spit out the definition from Wikipedia that was at World Health Organization, CDC at the time, and they have changed it since then, but this is basically what it said, is that particle and or surgical mask is not to be confused with the respirator, the N95, which is for viruses and bacteria. The particle and or surgical mask is only for water droplets and dust droplets and some water droplets, but nothing to do with the coronavirus. And then it said, big bold lettering underneath that, functionality is if you touch that mask once with your finger anywhere in the breathing area, it rendered it useless. So they had people hired for other jobs, like corporations, for when you came in to tell you to put on the wrong fucking mask, and that was a mandate. knowing full well that that mask wasn't designed to protect you, wasn't going to protect you, and just not going to. The N95 was. And they've had them both since the 60s. So, and this, you can say this is speculation, you can say this is my opinion, it doesn't matter. What's the point of having like a funded public education and Wi-Fi if I mean, that's like saying like, oh no, wrong is wrong and right is right, but because it's a health scare, wrong can just be right. Whatever. But the worst one was the vaccine. First, I'm going to ask you this. Think about this. What happened to the flu during COVID? Just think about that. Okay. First off, just because Health Canada proved it, made it approvable, so people could take it, never meant you made it safe. Why the fuck would you think it would be safe? I mean, safety trials, 2.5 years of safety trials. Yeah, they didn't even start those. So obviously it wasn't safe, right? Just because Health Canada proved it, everybody just figured that it was actually going to be safe, right? But then let's say you took it and died, right? Because a lot of people did. Even though I'll say people don't die of COVID, they die with it. It's a huge difference. If you died and say your family wanted to sue, they couldn't. They exempt any pharmaceutical company that made a COVID vaccine exempt from any illegal doing. Meaning nothing could happen to them. Who the hell in the right mind would take them? Alright? The flu. Nobody gave up. First, Global said that 68 people got the flu during COVID. So that would mean they didn't take the vaccine. My point with this is nobody gave a shit about a flu vaccine. And it's like the shit didn't exist because of it. And Canada wanted to make vaccine of COVID a mandate, which clearly means that people don't believe in free people with free choice. I mean, God. Anyways. So, I don't know. It's pretty simple. Power of the people. It's just what it says it is. But the fundamental value of what power of the people would be is knowing your human rights. See, it's one thing that we don't get taught in school, and we don't get taught anywhere, really, about your human rights. I mean, you go over it a little bit in school. I guess we did a bit, but it was never about our own human rights. It was about discriminating against people and the colors of black people and Chinese people or whatever, whatever color they were, they're discriminated against. But you can be discriminated against without having sex, orientation, or your mental health or your age. Or, discrimination can also be victimizing and harassment. Even if it's not intended, it's still protected above law in your human rights, right? Like, let's say, like during COVID, what happened a lot with me was I'd go to the washroom and all of a sudden I'd have a security guard banging on the freaking door. Like, first, ask yourself, have you ever had to go and get somebody to knock on the bathroom door for you, whether you're a kid or an adult? No. You went out the door, you knocked on it, if somebody was in it, you waited, right? Well, COVID got retarded. I mean, remember when COVID was in the bathrooms? Couldn't use those? So, my issue with it all is trying to explain to people about their human rights and how it could be the fundamental power of the people, because it is. I mean, if everybody knew their rights, half the stuff in COVID never would have happened. Right? And you can't say it didn't if you don't know your rights. And just to prove it, name 3 right now. I can. Section 7, one of them in Section 7 is illegal search and seizure. Right? How about freedom of expression? The third one, the fundamental value of power in the people, is knowing your human rights. Okay? But what I mean is how your human rights are taken through policy and law as a recommendation to take them away from you. Now, I implore you to look up your human rights, right? It's really simple. Just go online and look up Human Rights, United Nations. And, once you read through it, 45 minutes, you tell me if COVID was what it says it was. Alright? Do some homework for DJ Doug X. Alright, go fuck yourselves.